My name's Kevin Collins with Home Theater Forum. Jim, you're on the part of Harman International with the Lexicon group?
Yeah, the luxury audio group, Lexicon, Mark Levinson, Revel, and JBL Synthesis. So we've got the new Lexicon MP20 processor.
Great, I have the MC12 HD EQ at my house. So can you, what's great about the MP20?
Well, certainly, you know, the MC12 has been a fantastic product, kind of been an iconic product and an industry leader for quite some time. Obviously, there are a lot of new technologies that are out there, and so we wanted to bring to market a new flagship product for the brand. And the technology and capabilities that are in this are very unique. There are a lot of capabilities that this piece can do that just simply don't exist from any other products on the market. So it's to really help reestablish Lexicon as the leader in the preamplifier processor space. It's out there for the high-end enthusiasts. It's somebody that wants simply the best home theater systems that they can get.
What's some of the upgrades or, you know, the performance benefits? Is it in the video processing that's different between?
It's in both. First thing you'll notice is that as opposed to MC, which was media controller, we've changed it to MP, which is media processor. MC12 simply switched HDMI inputs. They did no processing to them. In this piece now, there's an extensive amount of video processing capability with it, but it's not simply just the video that's more advanced than what's in the MC12. The audio is also significantly improved over what the MC12's capabilities have. Just to run you through the basic features real quick on here, we'll start at the front panel. A very simplistic design, so that it was not an intimidating form factor. Wanted it to be a very rich and elegant product. The encoder knob is used for volume. It's a push to mute function. The large screen video display on the front is actually there for the user interface. These products are mock-ups, so they don't function right now. But the way this will work is these 10 keys are what we would refer to as soft keys. So their functionality will change depending upon the parameter or the operating state that the processor is in at that particular time. By default, these can be assigned as inputs, but they're really more activities. So I can assign each of those, and in the default mode, that's what they'll function. These are also soft keys for surround mode and zone 2 adjustability. But when I'm in different modes or in a setup configuration, these keys will change depending upon what parameter or what operating mode that I'm in. So it just gives us a very clean front panel design to the product. In the back, from our inputs, we've addressed the analog sunset from a connectivity standpoint. You'll notice there's not a wide array of legacy connectivity on here. For video, we have a 12x2 video matrix input capability. So there are 2 composite and 2 component for legacy, but then we have 8 HDMI 1.4a inputs, all capable of passing 3D. From an output standpoint, our main zone, we have component and HDMI. The second zone, we also have an HDMI. This is a fairly unique thing. We have independent resolution capability. Both zones have on-screen display. And depending on what you're doing with transcoding or upscaling, you could potentially have as many as 3 different resolution capabilities output at the same time. Another unique aspect of this is the fact that I can split the audio and video on an HDMI input. So I could pull video from 1, audio from 5, make that a new input. So if I wanted to have a game up or something that's in the theater, yeah, everybody's kind of mingling around, we're listening to internet radio or some music, I could do that with the product.
I could do that on the MC12 though, couldn't I?
Not from HDMI, so that capability is kind of unique to this product. We are also working, the hardware will be available in the spring to where we can have 4K pass-through on at least 2 of these inputs, so we'll be able to do that as well.
What version of HDMI is this supporting?
This is 1.4a.
Okay, so if you had 3D Blu-ray player coming into it, how would this work on taking that out through the outputs? Is there a bypass, or is your processor getting the video processor?
No, we don't process 3D. We pass through 3D.
So you send some flag or something like that. Now, if you're just 2D and you didn't want to go through the video processor, is there a bypass?
Sure. All of the capabilities from the video processor, they're independent for the main and second zone. There are some software updates that we'll have after the product launches to have independent color management, things like that. But yeah, you can select what functionality is implemented for the processing for the video.
So if you were just taking Blu-ray disc, 1080p video source, what would be the reasons that you'd want to use the video processor in here to try to upscale it to 4K, or is the video processor, if you're taking like satellite or something like that and you want to do some processing, the output is that the primary goal for it?
Yeah, it's obviously a lot of the upscaling and things like that are going to be for devices that aren't fully 3D or 1080p type video sources. But color management and some of the software updates post-launch would certainly be some things that you want to do to calibrate video, improve the quality of the signals that are coming across from that. This is Sigma Designs. The VXP is the video chip that we're using in here, which is what allows us that dual path architecture and a lot of high-end tweaking and tuning that you can do to the signals. But if you want to simply just pass the signal through, no problems whatsoever. You don't have to use all of the processing.
So on your CMS system that you'd have as a software upgrade later, how much of is it that you can control in CMS? Just your color points, your D65, your gamma, all of it, or some of it? Or?
Yes, most of those things, and there's some advanced parameters that are in there. That stuff, obviously, since it won't be in there at launch, is not completely defined yet, but it would be a very extensive CMS system.
So you said there's the video processor, which the MC12 didn't have.
Yes.
I have two pre-pros. I have the Anthem D2V2 and I have the MC12 HD EQ.
Yes.
So I've used the the EQ where I went and did the whole calibration on there and did a good job. What's the difference between what this was doing on EQ and what the MP20 is doing on EQ?
Well, this product, when it comes to audio DSP, has some pretty significant horsepower. There are 4 primary analog devices Shark DSP processors, as well as 2 secondary Shark DSP processors for a total of 6. So the horsepower is significant here. This is a native 192 kilohertz box. And then our room EQ processing is significantly upgraded over what we have in the MC12. So you can get a much more accurate, it's almost kind of an Arcos Lite. The Arcos is our new room tuning. It's capable and compatible with our SDEX and the JBL synthesis systems. And this will have similar capabilities, but it won't have the same advanced capabilities that the outboard SDEC processors do. But those processors cost more than this preamp does.
Okay.
So, 4 microphone inputs in here so that you can do the auto setup and calibration and room EQ for this with a microphone kit. When that's similar to what's in the Mark Levinson number 502 or the 4 mic option that's available with the MC12 EQ.
I noticed Ethernet ports.
Yes. Yeah, from a control standpoint, we do have Ethernet, 12 volt trigger, RS-232. It is set up for AVB from a hardware standpoint, so for audio video bridging, there's not a lot of products out there yet that, because it's a newer standard, so there's not a lot of products that we can connect to yet, but it's there for the future where you can send out multiple channels over that single Ethernet cable. USB is also a function on here, and again, there are some software updates that will be out post-launch where we'll be able to configure the box through an outboard software program. Once you've done that, you can load it to a thumb drive, put it in here, and configure the box. So you could, an integrator could go ahead and configure this box without actually having it. Or if someone loses their parameters, needs to reset things back to the way it was when the system was calibrated, you could do that there as well.
What about firmware upgrades? Can I do it through this?
Firmware upgrades will also be done through the USB. Yep. And then from the Ethernet control, this will obviously be compatible with third-party control systems, Crestron, AMX, those types of systems.
What if, do you guys have something that if someone just has an iPad or iPod Touch that they want to get control of and they don't want to go through their Crestron, is there some interface into that you guys have an app?
Not at the moment. No. The software portions of this is still what's in development since the product is still a few months away from shipping. But those are obviously all things that we're looking at, being able to implement with this. The hardware capability is certainly there. It's a matter of software implementation.
Great. Is there any other major features?
Yeah, the audio section itself. So this, as you can tell from the logos on the front panel, We do have Harman's proprietary quantum logic surround in here, similar to what's implemented in the Ferrari that's here in the booth. We also have a second mode that's called Quantum Logic 3D that adds 5 discrete height channels. So Quantum Logic by itself is a 7-channel upmixer technology. With Quantum Logic 3D, we add 5 discrete height channels. So I have a center height, left and right front heights, and left and right rear height channels, in addition to the standard 7-dot speaker configuration. And then with Harman's sound field management, we have 4 independent subwoofer outputs. And this is based on a research that Floyd Toole has done of using multiple subwoofers in a room to maximize the sweet spot, best smooth bass that you can get in a room. So that capability literally makes this a 12.4 channel audio box. We still have a variety of analog inputs here, balanced XLR and 6 single-ended, 4 of which can be configured for an 8-channel external input, SPDIF, optical, and coaxial AES balanced. And then for the second zone output, the 16-channel XLRs are main zone. Second channel gets, in addition to the 2-channel down mix on HDMI, gets 2 analogs, AES output, 2 SPDIF outputs, so that you can feed secondary rooms or locations for audio.
So it looks like this is a Christmas present kind of thing, right? It's going to come out
Yeah,
December,
it's actually not coming out quite that soon. Our target right now is the second quarter of next calendar year. So this is not necessarily premature, but there were a lot of rumors about this product that were out in the market, people speculating on what the capabilities would be once it was here. So we really wanted to just let people know this is here, this is what it's going to do, these are the features that it has, and of course with the corporate launch of Quantum Logic, we wanted to be able to tie that to this.
Great.
So target again, second quarter of next calendar year. Hardware is looking good, as you can see from the mock-ups here, but still some software development to finish up. But very excited to have the product. I think it's going to be a fantastic product, very unique thing, and really, again, help reestablish the brand as the leader with digital signal processing.
Great. Well, I'm excited to get my hands on it. Thanks for your time, Jim.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Great.